All right, and I guess we are live. We are live. We are live. We are here with myself, Ian, Thomas, and Mocha Mommy on this wonderful Tuesday. Yeah, Labor Day was yesterday. So Tuesday, about to bring you some of that hot news um, on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. A lot has happened, and today is a significant day that we have in the Bitcoin space. We're calling it, I guess, Bitcoin Day. Yeah, that's what's being called. And why not just get into it now? Mocha, what's going on in the streets of Bitcoin and crypto?
There's a lot going on. So it is Bitcoin Day. It's officially legal tender in El Salvador. Um, President Nayib Bukele is giving all of El Salvadorians $30 worth of Bitcoin to download the Chivo wallet and to use that. So this law is like the way it's set up. It's requiring businesses to accept Bitcoin, just Bitcoin. From what I understand, there is a report that the population kind of rejects it. So I'm curious about how they really feel on the ground about.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's always going to be opponents to the idea of change and new monetary systems, right? So
No,
you're
yeah,
going to hear the negative news. You're going to hear that this might be a bad thing for the people. But I don't think they were in good um, standing as it was. Maybe Thomas, what do you think? Is it a good or a bad thing to adopt crypto as legal tender while still having the dollar as an option? Just to be clear, they could still use the dollar if they want to.
Oh, I think that Bitcoin being legal tender in El Salvador is fantastic news and is going to help the world overall, but going to help the people of El Salvador first. And people protesting probably are just not used to the technology or how to use it, or maybe don't have internet access or are unsure. Who knows what their motives are. But I believe that we're going to see a lot of user adoption here in the Bitcoin space, particularly in El Salvador in the next couple of coming weeks here. I'm excited to see just what happens and what kind of companies start coming online and all that. And I actually saw that there was a pretty easy transaction. Someone posted on Twitter, right using Bitcoin directly over the Lightning Network to buy McDonald's, to buy coffee from McDonald's. So your old how do you buy coffee with Bitcoin question has been officially solved. So I think we're moving on to bigger problems now.
Right. I kind of want to say we won. I mean, the country just is now not only adopting Bitcoin, they're also buying Bitcoin, and we'll get into that a little later. And they're giving their citizens, as you can see from the article, $30 worth of Bitcoin. It's like literally a new day and age where we have people just taking on new technology, and Bitcoin seems to be one of those that's prolonged. It's what in its 12th year, and it's actually making moves. Um, it's making so much moves that other countries are thinking about jumping in. We got Panama.
it's that
Uh,
first domino.
yeah, they took the first bite, or they were the first ones to possibly free fall into this new system, and I think the people are there to catch them. And Panama not going to leave them, alone in the game, because everyone at this point might need to have like some type of crypto regulation or crypto strategy in their game plan, and countries fall into that situation where they even need to do it. There's a actual politician who put in a bill just today, I believe. Kind of interesting that they wait till now, but it's official that they're putting legislation forward to try to actually get the ability to use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a form of payment in the country. And most likely they'll try to use taxes as a way to take the crypto out of your hands. Um, so watch out for that.
Well, that's
You got to
popular.
pay to be part of a society.
Yeah, you gotta pay. I don't know if I want to pay my Bitcoin though. I might use use my good old cash, but Bitcoin's gonna appreciate over time, so that might eh. Unless they give me a discount. If they give me a discount to use my crypto to pay my taxes, then I'll think about it. Tanae, you paying your taxes with crypto?
No, sir.
Sorry,
I'll
Mocha Mommy.
pass.
I forgot to even just call you by everything. I just doxed you, as they say on the internet. But anyway, I'm kidding.
But that's kind of what Visa's position is in Brazil, is it not? They believe that there's going to be more adoption if it's integrated with traditional banking, so people can easily transition between fiat and cryptocurrency within the same system. That's their whole
You are
thought
correct.
process.
You are correct. It's like adoption on top of adoption happening right
Hmm.
now. We have some of the biggest giants in the game who have created like different payment gateways, gate rails, whatever rails out there for us to use to transfer value. And Visa, being the behemoth that it is, can't just sit out and watch another technology take over and not capitalize on it. Right, Thomas. What do you think? They've been wanting to jump in, right?
It's just all this dollar transitionary stuff with all these companies. I mean, ultimately, Bitcoin's going to eat all of them, and it reminds me a lot of back in the day when you had your VHS integrated into the TV or the VHS DVD player combos. It's a transitionary technology. It's only going to be around for basically hand holding people into it, but I think ultimately Bitcoin's going to take completely over. Visa's not going to be necessary. A lot of the banking industry is not going to be necessary. It's going to go the way of a Blockbuster did to digital content.
Yeah, there's already evidence of new systems being built on top of Bitcoin that allows for what Visa would have done for cash, right? You mentioned it earlier, the Lightning Network, which is like, the PayPals and the Cash apps. And on top of that, other people are building apps that are taking the technology of Lightning, which makes faster, cheaper transactions happen, and they're pushing it to the users' phones. And in one case, it's a Chibo wallet. For us, you could use like Blue Wallet. Um, but yeah, everybody's trying to adopt the faster and cheaper way to transition Bitcoin now. So you're going to see a lot more apps have cheaper fees, unlike Ethereum, um, for Bitcoin. But yeah, that's one other adoption story. And with all that adoption, you would assume Bitcoin's price would be astronomically high, right? You just it just got to be up there, right? I mean, it shot up probably, right? No, it tumbled. As you can see by CNBC's news here, we're nearly 10% down after the adoption news hit. But it's probably higher. Actually, let's double check real quick. Let me refresh this page. Coin Market Cap. Sometimes I get to go to them to use it for checking the price of a coin. So a little over 11% down. I mean, like Thomas would say, when in doubt, zoom out. But let's just go back 3 months to see where we were. We're still up, right,
One
Thomas?
Bitcoin still equals one Bitcoin. You're not losing value in Bitcoin. You're losing value in something that you're comparing it to in the dollar, and that dollar itself is a moving target. So how accurate is that really? And
Right.
there's definitely some manipulative forces in play, I would say, with this particular dip happening. That a lot of exchanges went down. There could potentially have been some people trying to almost hack these exchanges so that the service would go down. Not necessarily that the money is in any type of unsecure, but just that you can't actually use the service to sell or buy, which would affect the price in the immediate short term. And then you've got a situation where maybe some of these nation states that have very large supplies of fiat currency or even money printers are probably buying Bitcoin and affecting the price, the dollar price, a lot more than they're leading us on to believe, essentially.
I see.
El Salvador actually bought the dip today. They said they posted that they bought the dip, but imagine how many people with a very large amounts of capital are not posting anything and just trying to scare people out of their money. A lot of new hands getting that $30 and they don't know what to do with it. They see the value going down, so maybe they want to sell immediately or something like that. Causes a cascade effect, and then people swoop back in and buy at lower prices.
Yeah, it's a thing, right? It's initially my my thought was, okay, there's gonna be a buy the rumor, sell the news event where people are buying up into the point where they knew it would officially be legal tender on the 7th, which is today. So they'll dump either right before or, some point. But last night, I'm like, it's 2 a.m. It's still up. It's doing good, right? And then I don't know what time did this happen. I mean, this might be the first like sign of
I think
like
we're
8 a.m.
11,
Yeah,
in the
10,
morning.
11. Yeah.
42 at 11.
So we kind of got a late drop, and I can see where you're saying it seems manipulative, because I think we shot up about $1,000 yesterday, and to dip now, it's kind of like it would be a late situation if it was a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. So there was some form of liquidation happening. Somebody triggered it and basically bought more than El Salvador. I mean, sold more than El Salvador bought, and the hornet of people who would have bought $30 in celebration of the citizens getting their $30 worth of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of buying, but there was just a lot more sell pressure to bring it down and trigger probably a lot more sell orders to go off. And on top of it, people can't get to their Bitcoin. That might cause some panic for the average investor. Dania, were you panicking?
No, but I was concerned with everyone trying to get onto Chivo. You mentioned if they can't access it, there's going to be some problems. So I understand that Chivo had to be taken offline by the government. There were issues with some of the other exchanges as well. I think Gemini was one of them. But from what I understand, Bitcoin Beach and Strike were just fine.
Right. There's gonna be winners and losers in this technology game,
Good point.
and a lot of them are gonna get overwhelmed in the first couple, goes at this. You can't be guaranteed to say, all right, I'm only gonna have a million users hop on. Like you have to be able to withstand this. And people that are in the game for years, like Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini, they've experienced this numerous times. It's starting to become a trend for when the price goes up too high,
Mhm.
Coinbase kind of like goes kaput. So if you're one of those people
As
that
soon
holds your
as
coins on Coinbase, you might want to think twice if you're trying to make sure you want to secure your stuff. Take it off Coinbase because you never know. You might not be able to access it when you really need to transfer it somewhere. But yeah, what are you gonna say?
these sites like to go down under heavy load for sure. So you
Mhm.
could run into a situation where the site is hacked or something like that too, a Mt. Gox situation from years ago, potentially losing all your coins. So it's always advisable to self-custody, especially when you start getting into times of high volatility and you don't plan on selling. If you never plan on selling, you don't want to hold your coins on an exchange. If you do plan on selling, a lot of times you're going to be planning on selling a small percentage, and you're likely going to be having those on multiple exchanges across different apps in case one or two or three of them go down. You can still move around some of your chess pieces, on another app.
Yep. Like people like to say, not your keys, not your cheese. Yeah, a lot of options for you to take it off and custody it yourself. So look into those and see what option works for you. The last thing you kind of hinted at earlier was, them doing what true diamond-handed people do: buy the dip. If your conviction is high, like the president of El Salvador, you not only buy Bitcoin 200, I think they bought 200. They were supposed to buy 200. Denny, you might have more insight on this. Supposed to buy 200 Bitcoin last night,
But they
this
actually
morning.
bought double that.
They bought 400.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy. But then the price dips. What do? They buy more. They buy more Bitcoin during the dip and literally shock the world. And it's they see it as a sale. I see it as a sale. I was kind of hoping I got more Bitcoin earlier when it was in the 30s. Am I wanting to go down to the 30s right now? No. But if it did, I'm gonna look at it like it's Black Friday again. It's an early summer ending sale. Maybe it started a new school year sale. Back to school special.
Thomas, what are your thoughts on that dip in Black Friday for Bitcoin? Because I saw you smirking when Ian was mentioning that. Is it happening?
Oh,
Is it in the
I don't
clouds?
know. I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. The Black Friday for Bitcoin. I try to approach Bitcoin with the understanding that it's the best monetary asset the world has ever seen, and if you can't explain a quick, immediate price drawdown and it doesn't feel logical to you, then that's usually when a lot of the Bitcoiners are going to be screaming buy the dip, because it doesn't feel logical to them either. Mm-hmm. So that's your sale right there, and you start to almost, you can call bullshit on a lot of this stuff, and the price going down for an announcement so monumentous as a country adopting Bitcoin as a monetary standard, it doesn't make sense. So there's somebody doing that, and you can call their bluff essentially and buy that Bitcoin and then never sell it again. And then that particular Bitcoin can never be used and manipulated to manipulate the price later down the road, because no one can print more of them.
Right. Yeah, that is an interesting way to look at it, for sure. That if you pull it off, you own it, you custody it. They can't play it in the market. It's not. There's going to be a lot of.
That card's literally off the table. You can take the Bitcoin off the table so that no one can play the games with it.
Yeah. That's what this system's for.
Mindset is a little bit further out in the future, like you said, seeing one Bitcoin as opposed to how we currently translate it in our heads. So we've got a ways to get there.
You got to start thinking in sats.
Yeah, that's how they're actually doing it. When I saw a picture of it was a stand in El Salvador, it actually broke down how much Bitcoin on one side and how much sats on the other. And for anyone that's wondering, Satoshis are the units of measure of fractions of Bitcoin, kind of like the pennies are to a dollar. There's 100 pennies in a dollar. There's 100 million Satoshis in one Bitcoin. So, yeah, we can divide it up. You don't have to own one whole Bitcoin. Stop thinking you got to own one whole Bitcoin. Jesus. Like, everybody's getting the crypto vanity thing. Oh, Bitcoin's at 50,000. I can't buy one. I'm like, I'm going to buy these other altcoins. Well, countries aren't adopting these other altcoins, are they? Yeah. So think about it. Not financial advice. Just be educated and know your options, and stay on top of the fact that people are hoarding assets, digital assets, and Bitcoin's one of them. Any last words, guys, before we hop out?
I'm just excited at the news and just seeing the world change right in front of our faces. I'm looking forward to seeing more of what's going on in Africa. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to be the next in the domino line. So it's just exciting times. Glad to share it with you fellas.
Thank you. Definitely celebration time. Thomas?
We thought we were going to have to be seeing which new company was going to be buying Bitcoin this year, and now we're going to be seeing which new country is going to be buying the dip of Bitcoin. So it's all good. It's all good. And
right. We're out here talking about Apple. Apple. We're like, U.S., when you're next. Come on now. It's Olympic. Right. This is the Olympic race we wanted.
We skipped the level. I love it.
Man. Cool, man. Thomas, you're always fun to have around. Mocha, I appreciate you hopping in on this and giving us the insight on what's going on. Thomas, I got some following up to do on your Bitcoin mining, solar mining project. So stay tuned for that, guys. We're going to hop up and go to his farm where he's mining Bitcoin with the sun for a limited amount of, cost and investment.
It's all small stuff,
but it can be scaled. That's the funny part. It can be scaled, and I might have a person that wants to talk to you about that. So I'll chop it to you after this. Until next time, guys. I'm out. Peace.